have all these notes that I have for every guest, but I feel like we know each other. And a lot. Have you ever seen the information that your people send about you?
Nope.
Because it's a mixture, right? It's a mixture of things that I want to talk about, but it's also information that like your PR people or whomever advances.
Right.
Do you want to see some of it?
Maybe not.
Well, it's stuff like, okay, for example, you were inducted into the Nashville Songwriters Hall of Fame.
Right.
And I don't know, unless I just know this, and if it were to come up, I'd be like, oh, and by the way, Nashville Songwriters Hall of Fame, right?
Got it.
So that has to be cool for you. It's different than a performance award. It's like a thinking award to be in the Songwriter Hall of Fame. What is that ceremony like?
Surreal for me. I mean, it's just, it's a songwriting town. And man, that was an amazing night. I mean, that's a cool club to be in.
I would
really
think
is.
It would feel like an elevated, like a really special place to be, because not everybody gets to see the work that goes into songwriting.
Yeah.
And the people that are in the crowd actually understand the undertaking of it.
Yeah.
So it's a very relatable award with everybody in the room.
It is, and there's a reminder of, I've written a lot of songs. I forget how many songs I've written, and then they start playing them, and you're like, oh my gosh.
That's really a thing.
Tons of songs.
Where Joan Rivers used to keep every joke in a file cabinet that she's ever written.
Is that true?
Yes. Like
why? Why did she do that?
She just wanted to have an organization and a collection of all of her jokes, and she ended up dying, and she was older when she died, like maybe almost 90. Is there a database of everything you've ever written that you have that you could get into, or would you have to go and scurry around and find it from different places?
Probably that. Yeah. Yeah. I think it's kind of scattered everywhere. Cassettes.
Stuff still on cassettes?
I got stuff on cassette. I found this little box the other night up in the attic, and I opened it up, and it's full of cassettes. And there was like Days Go By being written and stuff like that. Yeah.
Do you always record the room when you're writing? Or do you just record like a work tape when you're done?
I like to, so I have my own record company, which I've had for a long time, and it's called Hit Red. The reason it's called that is because I always think a great engineer hits record the second anybody walks in the studio. Don't wait for us to sit down and start playing. Just hit red right away, because you walk in, you start whistling something, humming something, you pick your guitar out, you tune it up, you play a riff, and you're like, oh, did anybody get that? Because I'll forget it. Sure. So, yeah, I think record all the time.
Did you watch the Greatest Night in Pop, the We Are the World
I
documentary?
Did, yeah.
Whenever Lionel Richie, who I've been fortunate enough to know for a while, he's awesome.
Yeah.
Like in every way on that show, he's like that in person. He's the greatest dude.
Yeah.
But when he's talking about working with Michael Jackson and that Michael Jackson didn't play an instrument, so he laid down layers and layers of and then he would come on top of a tape and go, hoo, hoo, hoo. So have you worked with anyone who didn't have the traditional music skills but were so good at something like that, where just going in and humming a line but being a great artist, that mostly if you're a great artist because you learn how to do music.
Yeah. I've had to do it myself with string arrangements on records that I've done, because I can't.
For you,
I can't write music. I can't read music. I can't write it or read it. But I can hum it to the conductor or the arranger and go. So I think the violins might do this line.
Oh, with strings, not guitar.
Yes, like violin, cello. When you got a big string section.
I saw Justin Bieber doing with an orchestra in a recording studio, and he did same, like he didn't know how to play, but he would go la la loo loo loo, give him the melody, and then he would go strings, and eventually they created this really cool sound. And I guess I didn't put those two together, kind of what Michael was doing, and what Justin Bieber and what you're talking about there, because again, you don't play. I mean, do you play the fiddle at all?
No.
But to be able to tell, hey, I need this, you would just hum a melody.
The other cool thing that's happened is, like that, you sing a melody in the studio. Sometimes I sing it as a placeholder, like when I want a keyboard player to come in and do kind of thing, and then maybe I go, and then the harmony would be and you do the harmony. And sometimes we've just left that in. The actual
humming
vocal,
of it?
the vocal,
the humming of the vocal.
Attempt at trying to sound like something ends up being texturally so much more interesting and cooler than the actual thing.
You ever have part of a chorus or even a bridge that you accidentally leave in that ends up becoming like what the song is most known for, like an accidental discovery, or like an ad lib that you're like, you know what? Why don't we just put that in? Or a guitar lick, for example. I'll vamp while you think about it because it's a hard question. Radiohead, and within Creep.
Oh yeah,
that really wasn't what it was supposed to be.
Hook.
But now it's And they were like, yeah, really, in the recording of it, that guitar part wasn't supposed to be like that. It was kind of an accident, and they left it.
Yeah,
Anything like that strike you when I tell that story?
No, I there probably is. I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but I was thinking about that. Beautiful, is it James? What's his name? No,
James Blunt?
Yeah, James Blunt.
Oh, yeah.
And he started too early.
I love, yeah.
My love is brilliant. Or life is brilliant.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. And then he came in too early, and then they left it in. It's one of my favorite moments in that song.
Which is what that song was known for until it became a massive hit. The song where he sings it twice at the beginning.
Yeah.
Or even like
he
Colby
just came
Calais.
in too early.
Like,
she goes, will you
will
count me in?
Yeah.
We all know that part of the song. It's classic.
And you wonder if that even really, because she probably wasn't saying that. She was probably talking to the sound engineer. Just going, will you count me in?
Or you go, turn it up. You know?
And we still remember that. I said Colby Calais, and Keith and I at the same time went, will you count me in? Isn't that crazy what music does?
Yeah, it's so hooky.
You have a new song that we've been playing all morning. It's called Messed Up As Me. What about this song did you love, and why did you think you needed to record it?
Well, let me put it this way. It's a super relatable song for me. I mean, it's about a relationship that has one good thing going. All the rest is dysfunctional, toxic, makes no sense, but one part of this relationship is phenomenal.
Is it about us, me and you?
Yeah. Just that one bit. That's why we're sitting so close, Bobby.
Thank you. I'm sitting right next to Keith because we're very close, and he's actually seeing my notes. I never let anyone see my notes.
Wow.
And I felt bad. I felt bad for you and jealous of you. This picture the paparazzi took of you.
Oh, God.
You look great. Are you kidding?
Right. Thank you.
Are you?
Well, then why do you feel bad for him?
Because paparazzi's taking pictures of him.
Oh, yeah.
Like the guy can't live.
That's a good question.
Sorry.
It was confusing there for a second.
Well, I was going to get there, and then but if you look awesome, and I know who cares, right? It's body, but it's like I was irritated that the paparazzi was not letting you live your life, but then I was irritated at you for being in great shape.
Well, you can talk.
Yeah, but I struggle. I struggle with
mine.
I don't know. You smell good. You look good.
Please.
How often do you have to? Is it worse for you out of America with paparazzi than it is in America?
It's more so when I'm with Nick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never by yourself?
Yeah, obviously. But yeah, occasionally.
Do you worry? Because I would say you're even one of the more fashion-forward dudes in music, not even just country music, like for a long time. I mean, you were wearing Off-White before, like Off-White was like...
I love Off-White.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
But it was like I would notice that. You were wearing Off-White like way early before it kind of became a bigger cultural thing.
I rode skateboards and rode BMX bikes when I was a kid, and I think that whole street thing is just part of what I love.
That makes a lot of sense. Didn't know. Did you ever injure yourself real bad doing that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was in a BMX race, and first jump, went over and landed on the front, flipped the bike over, broke this left arm. And I remember a guy, one of the, people in charge of officials running out and going, you got to keep going. You got to keep going. I'm like 13. I'm like, what? I'm hanging out. My arms are like here. I picked up my bike, which was just trashed, and carried it around the track.
To finish?
To finish the race, yeah.
Did you continue racing after that?
I did for a long time, and then my mom was like, she wasn't happy that I was doing it.
Have you ever, in the last 5 years, again, you're such a great guitar player, have you discovered anything new about the guitar? And I talk to coaches at a high level. It's like, have you figured anything out about an offense or a defense, even though you've been doing it for 30 years? And I'll be like, have you done that with a guitar at all, where you're like, you know what, I found that I can go from here to here, or do something new that you had never discovered?
I think I'm working on not playing so much.
So the opposite.
Yeah, it's like you have it's like saying a sentence. I'm going to say this whole thing, but learning to stop halfway through and leave it there. That's kind of the version of playing a lick on the guitar.
Is that hard for you to do?
Yes, because I want to complete the thought. But the newest thing is to not complete the thought and end it in the middle and see what happens. Leave the space.
Let art happen then, a different kind of art, or you're just like, I'm tired?
Just to stop getting into the predictability place.
Like muscle memory almost.
It's exactly what it is.
With like brain muscle memory, because your brain is going to a place playing what you feel is, not to us, but where you feel like it's predictable. Obviously, I'm on this scale. I do this.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. So making myself stop, because then whenever I start the next phrase, that'll be probably different because of being so aware of what's going on.
Why did this awareness happen?
No, I just hear things back, and I'm like, stop. Why
You hear stuff back, and you do that too?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I hear stuff back, and I'm like, dude, you had it in the middle. Stop there. Shush.
That gives everybody else hope that's not amazing at something. If he can hear stuff back.
I know. I'm very curious. How long do you pause or wait?
Like an hour. It'd be awesome. He does like an Andy Kaufman and just stops and watches the crowd.
That's it.
Yeah. So yeah. So
oh my God, I think of him so often.
He's my favorite performer of all time.
We'd be like playing a lick like dun, 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 dun. And I said to the guys, how long do you think we could play that lick for until the audience started to...
It's him reading the book.
And then, but I'd like to know what happens. Who leaves? Who stays? How do they leave? Do people boo? Do they quietly leave? What happens?
There are things like that too that I wanted to be a part of. Let's say it would be your band. But you gave me like a saxophone, and it's like, okay, let's go to the solo. I don't know how to play saxophone. And I go out front, and I'm just trying as hard as I can, but I'm terrible.
Yeah.
And everybody kind of walks off stage and lets me play.
Yeah.
Like, Motley Crue, they would do the whole solos, they'd go hook up with girls, but instead, you guys were just letting me play to see how long till people booed. Like,
Right.
when will they boo the random saxophone player that sucks?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be a hilarious
Especially when
bit?
you're doing it dead serious. You never...
No, I never break character.
No, you look dead serious.
Yes.
Like I'm really meaning this.
And then I get real sad when they boo me off.
Yeah.
You ever been booed bad? That affected your confidence?
Yeah, I had a guy walk up and put his fingers in his ears, like stand right in front of me, in front of everybody, when I was playing at a club, and I was sort of on ground level.
Do you think that was a you thing or a him thing?
A bit of both, probably. But yeah, I got fired from that gig.
Because of that specifically, or
because I was trying to be nice to this guy, and long story short, he came up at the end of the night. I'm packing up my gear. I was filling in for a guy who was a solo act there, Friday night at this club, playing solo, backing tracks, live guitar, and I finished with "Devil Went Down to Georgia" on the guitar. It's my big moment, and I'm shredding away, and this guy walks up in front of me, and I'm on the floor with there's all the crowd and everything, and he's like, "No, it's just terrible. You sound terrible." He was hammered. He's just terrible. You sound terrible. And I'm trying to get rid of him while I'm playing and not make a scene in front of everybody. And anyway, I finished. Like, dun, 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 bum, bum, thank you, good night. And I'm furious, and I'm packing up my gear. And this guy comes over, and I'm like, oh, just don't say anything, Keith. Don't say anything to this guy. You're almost out of here. Anyway, I called him some incredibly offensive things, like horrendously offensive things.
And that got you fired?
Yeah. And then he goes, you're a young guy, but with an attitude like that, your career's over before it's begun. And then he just waddled off into the distance. And then he comes back with the manager of the hotel. I went, here we go. And he goes,
he Karen'd him.
Wow.
Yeah. He hit him with the Karen before the Karen was a thing.
Because I got fired for filling in for a guy.
We played the new song earlier. We've been playing it all morning long. So when you put out a new song, it's kind of, with you, you're a bit unpredictable in that sometimes you'll put out like 8 singles before you put out a record, or sometimes you'll put out a bit. Like, what's happening now with you musically?
We put out Straight Line, which is technically the first single off the new album, and the first song on the album. And then Messed Up As Me is the first radio single and second single off the record. Hopefully another song in the next few months. And then album coming. I got a duet on the record, which I recorded last summer.
Have you said with who?
No, I haven't. And I've been sitting on it since last summer, and it's killing me. So I can't wait to get that out.
Don't say it. I'm not going to ask you to say it now, but what if you whispered it in my ear and I don't tell anybody? I think he would tell me.
Is he trustworthy
Yes.
with that?
I think he
Absolutely.
would tell me. I know where he lives. I think he would tell me.
You do.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
Let me. Okay,
You've sat on our
I'm going
couch,
to do a
Bobby.
live reaction, and I'm never going to tell. Do you trust me? Really?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Ray, play a little hold music. Thank you. Yeah, it's going to be big, guys. It's going to be big. And I'm trying to hold back. I can't find my ear. It's going to be big. And that's all I'm going to say. Because this face here is that of a trustworthy person, but it is going to be big for multiple people. Some people are calling it the new We Are the World.
Oh, my.
What?
Wow.
But me, I'm that person who calls
It's
it
like,
that.
I
How
didn't say
great is
that.
that moment with Ray Charles singing his solo moment in that We're the World thing? It's ridiculous.
There were so many great moments. To me, even seeing the humanity in Bob Dylan,
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
Bob Dylan
He
is-
looked insecure.
he's struggling, he doesn't
Yeah.
know how to, because he's not a
singer
like
everybody
traditional
else.
vocalist.
Yeah, totally.
And then when Stevie Wonder goes, hey, come to the piano, it makes everybody leave the room. Bob Dylan, one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
Like songwriters. Like, and he's mimicking Bob Dylan. So Bob Dylan can hear how he's supposed to sing it.
Yeah.
We are the world.
There's a choice we're making.
There's a choice we're making. And then Bob
saving our lives.
And then he
finishes,
crushes
and
it.
you can tell Bob's like, that was terrible. And they're like, it was amazing.
Yeah. The humanity in that show of people that we don't feel are human because they're so famous was super cool.
Yeah.
I felt bad for Sheila E.
Don't even remember her being in
Oh,
it?
Prince.
They just gave her a verse
Person?
because they wanted Prince to come.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And then he didn't show up.
Why
And so
don't
she
I
was
know
just
that?
like, I'm out.
Oh, man.
Sometimes do you multitask when you watch shows? Because I
He's
do.
too busy
it.
learning
Dude.
solos.
I do, and I miss things like here and there.
Yeah.
But
there's
that was,
actually,
it was a quick part.
You know what it is? I didn't see that. There's another one that's like 3 hours long on the making of that song. They use all the same footage, but then additional footage. It goes for 3 hours, this thing.
Well, that sounds better.
I downloaded that. You know how there was multiple cameras in the studio?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's just the other camera's point of view.
Oh, cool.
Like, it's
Yeah.
kind of crazy.
Did you ever watch like the 8-hour Tom Petty documentary?
Is it Running Down a Dream?
Oh,
I think
that's
it was
it.
called, or
That's
something?
it.
Yeah, and it's so long, but it's
amazing.
So good.
It's,
It's so
so
good.
yeah, it's so good.
Yeah.
That and the Eagles, whenever they have their documentary, that's like hours and hours. You ever watch that one where they announce their hell freeze is over? Like they're
Yes.
that one's really cool too.
Yes. I love
When's yours?
documentaries.
When's the Keith Urban documentary?
I'm working on it.
Are you really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How far back does it go?
I don't know yet. We're literally just preliminary.
Do you have a lot of footage
Discussions.
of you as a child playing?
Not as much as I wish I did. Yeah, it's a bummer.
That's really cool. Well, I'm not going to mention anything about it, about his duet. And I'm not mentioning anything. There we go. That's it. Except it's going to be awesome. Oh, I'm going to do a game with you real quick, and this will be it.
Okay. Thought that was.
No, it's not it. It's never
Okay.
it with us, Keith.
Mm.
Okay.
What's that?
Okay, so good. We're going to play Guess the Weight of the Cat.
What?
I'm with you.
Guess the weight of the cat?
Yeah.
Like
I have
an
a-
actual kitten?
Yeah. I have all
Oh,
these.
it's hardly a
I have
kitten.
all
Looks
these
like
lar-
it's eaten several kittens.
I have all
It's
these large
huge.
cats. Do you have animals?
Yeah. Got 2 cats and a dog.
You do have a couple cats?
Yeah.
Are any of them this big?
No.
How large do you think that cat is
That's
right
either
there?
a very small woman or a, what?
Right. It could be like a 2-foot tall woman. Yeah. How big is that cat?
And small plants. Oh my God. That's a dog. That's, I don't know. What is that? 15 pounds?
15 pounds. Oh, you saw the answer is 24.25 pounds. That's a 25-pound cat.
Good Lord.
Healthy. But again, I thought the one was like 2 foot tall at first too. No, it's just a large cat.
But is
Okay.
that a
But-
domesticated cat
Yeah, no,
or
yeah,
like in the
it's-
wild?
It's all domestic.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Okay, here's this
Apparently,
cat.
not a lot of exercise going on here.
How
with
big does this cat look to you?
That's ridiculous. 30 pounds?
30 pounds. This cat is 36.9 pounds. Healthy,
Good
still alive.
Lord.
A 37-pound cat. And finally, this is the world record for the biggest cat ever. This is Patches.
No.
And when they found Patches.
Yeah.
They said, okay, you're a little too big. And they put Patches on a diet.
42 pounds.
41 pounds. So you got better as it went.
That's insane. Well, yeah, I was getting a
Yeah,
handle on it.
You got the groove of it
That's
there.
insane.
Patches has lost like 15 pounds at this point.
Still overweight.
So healthy. Yeah, but no. But you don't see the positive in it. You know? It's like the Biggest Loser when Patches comes busting through the screen at the end.
Yeah.
Um,
It's relative.
My dog, I have a bulldog, and my bulldog was 58 pounds, right? They're big fat bulldogs.
Yeah.
And the vet, who's a friend of mine, says Stanley needs to lose about 6 pounds. And I'm like, all right, buddy, and have a talk with him.
Stanley's a great name, by the way.
It like Stanley from The Office is why I
so
named him
funny.
that. And so he had lost 5 pounds, and I went to my wife, and I was like, I'm so proud of him. And she was like, why? I said, he lost 5 pounds. She said, why are you proud of him? I said, because it's hard to lose weight. She said, no, we're just feeding him less.
Right.
You should be proud of us.
That's right.
Because he's doing nothing.
There you go.
So
Yeah. They do nothing. Cats do nothing.
I start to get mad at him now.
Have you ever asked Keith about the kangaroo?
I don't know that I want the answer.
Mm.
But I think,
Nice.
because I
Not
think
some
he
of the
won't
world's
spend.
fattest kangaroo.
No,
is it?
I don't think he'll spend enough time thinking about it properly.
But he knows kangaroos.
Okay.
That seems
I've eaten a kangaroo.
There we go.
okay.
Mm,
Here's
it's
the
not
question:
good. I wouldn't recommend it.
if they just picked a generic kangaroo from any kangaroo in the wild, it could be a baby or an old or a small generic kangaroo. I think if you put me up against a generic kangaroo, I could whoop its butt in a fight. Not the big muscle ones they put on the internet. It could be that one, but
Right.
it also could be one that's been in an accident.
Right.
So I think a generic kangaroo one-on-one,
Crippled kangaroo.
A deformity.
I would beat it up.
No.
You want phone muscle though?
It doesn't
Feel my
matter.
muscle, though.
Dang, dude.
Now
You've been-
tell me again.
You've been hanging out with Carrot Top.
Oh, he's massive.
It's insane.
Yeah,
He's a rip.
He's
Yeah.
massive. Okay.
Now, he could kick a kangaroo's ass.
No. I could see. I knew he'd make it a joke. He doesn't respect my art.
It's more respecting the kangaroo's art.
Okay. Anyway,
They're pretty badass.
his name's Keith Urban. He's got some fine. His duet coming out. It's fine.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, you're super buff. You would kick that kangaroo. You would kick.
It's a great
Carrot
song
Top's
ever heard,
ass.
guys. This duet. It's already won a Grammy. It's not
Get
even
how
out
it
yet.
works.
Yes.
I get how it works now.
All right.
Bobby.
Keith,
So
great
sorry.
to
a bit
see you,
slow.
buddy.
A bit slow.
You're my friend. Thank you.
Love you, Bobby.
All right, bye-bye.
It's a Bobby Bones show.